Happy Saturday and welcome to the Ramashram Satsang Weekend Workshop, where you will learn a modern Satsang method for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. My name is Shivangi and I will be introducing the facilitator for today's event. But first, I would like to give you a brief overview to this Satsang session. If you'll direct your attention to the screen, you will see that the first element is Satsang. Satsang is a scientific method whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in our lives. It requires no physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience to begin this practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important part of satsang. When we meditate, our consciousness is drawn from worldly objects and directed inward to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, leading us to higher states of consciousness such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of satsangs, inner satsang and outer satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice satsang, when we practice outer satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior, but it is only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. This is the type of satsang we will learn today, where we meditate in silence. Group sessions. These weekend workshops are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these weekend workshops, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul, but it is only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy that we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Next, the agenda for today's session consists of three parts: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, our founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, instructions on how to meditate will be given, followed by a brief period of practice. During the interactive session, you will have the opportunity to ask questions or there will be a panel discussion. And now, I would like to introduce the facilitator for this event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He is the grandson of Guru Maharaj, the founder of Ramashram Satsang Mathura. He was born into a satsang family where he has witnessed his family members obtaining states of enlightenment and live lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. During that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang could have on mankind. Upon arriving in the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsang for local satsangis. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English and has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English-speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout the United States, India, and England facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by our Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
So happy Saturday, everyone. Glad that we are here in Satsang. Today, before we get into the practice, let's talk a little bit about, one of the pillars that makes up inner resilience or mental resilience. Yesterday, I was talking to Arvindji that, we need to drill down into these topics a little bit. So emotional regulation, interestingly, I was just listening to a TED talk, and it talked about while most of us, um, uh, you know, uh, while most of us kind of sort of live within like 10 to 20 emotions, or kind of feel that, um, uh, you know, um, uh, but there are 34,000 emotions. So emotional regulation is one of the key parts to, you know, um, getting grounded. Um, it's in a way, it's a power to respond, not to react. So Viktor Frankl says between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space lies our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and freedom. So emotions are natural, entanglement is optional. Resilience begins when we stop being ruled by the turbulence of emotion. So when anger arises, we pause. When anxiety peaks, we breathe. That single breath between the impulse and the action is where peace could live. So research also talks about that. In University of Wisconsin, Dr. Richard Davidson shows that mindfulness practices increase activation in the prefrontal cortex, um, the brain's governor, um, you know, and basically that quietens the amygdala, our emotional alarm. Um, my grandfather, Guru Maharaj, taught that when mind is clouded, the intellect loses its clarity. Meditation and mindfulness restores that back. And so, what we need to do through this meditation, we can create that gap where not only peace lives, but we regulate our emotion as a, you know, as a byproduct. Um, so on that note, um, and you know, interestingly, today I joined one session in India. This is the second one. Then there is a Washington, D.C., you know, area satsang today. So we'll be joining that as well in the evening. Um, Today I was talking about, why focus on light, and why, take that backdrop as uh, the object of concentration. Um, and it's fascinating how light is a very universal concept across religions. It is something that just brings the picture of dawn in my head, and it's uplifting, positive. Um, when the light turns on, the darkness just dispels without any effort. So that's the backdrop that we have for this meditation. And I've repeated it many, many, many times, but just uh, you know, just sun's energy is responsible for life on Earth, and imagine that the cosmic energy, which we cannot fathom, but if we, think that we're part of that, we are, imbibing that, we're manifesting that, uh, you know, uh, that itself, that thought itself makes us, feel it's I don't know, light is knowledge because we see things in it. Light is power, energy, which drives us in so many ways. So uplifting and positive energy, if that is driving us, that just is a game changer. So on that note, let's get into the practice. Um, so eyes lightly closed and sit in a relaxed and posture that is still. So still and relaxed posture, because every time the body moves, the mind moves with it. Um, Eyes get the sensory input. So both of these things, when eyes are lightly closed and still and relaxed posture, that minimize the distraction. And now we concentrate our entire awareness onto this conscious energy source, which is right here, right now. And we are receiving this transcendental energy in form of light in our heart, enlightening it, and then the light moves to every part of our body. So we are becoming the light. We are getting completely and totally immersed in it. When mind moves away from it, just bring it back to this thought and this thought alone, that this transcendental energy in form of light is entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we are becoming completely and totally immersed in it. We'll start with music that helps concentration, then music fades away and we go deep into silent meditation on this transcendental light, and then we transition out with music again. Let's start. So happy Saturday. It looks like we have a full house. So glad that we are here in Satsang, and feel free to switch on your video and unmute and ask any question or share any thoughts, comments, insights, or experiences. So now that we have a full house, and we are in a new year. So I was thinking of volunteering you all to a project. So you're being voluntold. Um, so for years and years, I have this thought of putting together a beginner's toolkit. So individually, if each one of you can think of the top three things that each beginner needs to know, and what you think we need to encourage each beginner to understand or to do, like read something or, um, you know, what would help them get the best out of this practice. And um, one question for you all also is that, is there something you still would like to know? Because I don't know if we ever asked that question. And there was another question that, what are, if we were to articulate, what are we here for? What would that be? Because, you know, that itself is, it can be several levels. Okay, so, and I would say, because this could potentially go to multiple sessions, but for today, those who want to or need to go sooner could probably unmute or come on the video and talk about it. And we need a icebreaker. Someone needs to.
I
Well,
can I can start, and
sure.
from a beginner standpoint, it is
Yeah, I would. I'm well. I would echo Luz's thoughts there, and just trying to find a space and getting comfortable. It's sort of like as a school teacher, you'd tell a kid to find a quiet space to do their homework. Um, it's sort of the same thing. I always enjoy more so in the summertime because it's winter and it's always, or at least where I am, it seems like it's always overcast and cold. But in the summertime or the warmer months, I always like to face the sun, face the actual physical light.
Mm.
And um, as I don't know, right when you started speaking today and you gave your talk, it made me think of Leonard Nimoy and Spock from Star Trek. We're trying to just eliminate emotion when we take I mean, some emotions are good, love and compassion and things of that sort. But when we do this, we take all the negative energy out. We're just able to calm ourselves. I think that's what I appreciate so much. It's almost like cleansing your body and your mind and getting grounded again, seeing things from the proper perspective. It's almost like time stops. So
Hmm.
I think
All,
I think,
I
think I appreciate that. It just everything becomes calm and centered, and
Hmm.
it enables you when you re-enter the outside world to do it with a proper perspective and to be able to uplift people. I always just feel uplifted when I leave these sessions. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm here. So I don't know. Those are
So,
some of my thoughts.
so is there anything that you think like we should share upfront other than the things that we have already discussed, like from a teacher, being a teacher perspective, anything like from a prepping perspective, anything that might help?
Yeah, I think that just that there's maybe a consistent space that you need to be in, um, just to be able to put away anything that might distract you and just get to that place where it is quiet all around you. Um, Having enough physical space so that you can
Hmm.
get your body physically grounded. Like I like to be in an upright posture. I prefer
Yeah,
to almost sit with my legs straight out and my hands beside me so that I can just be still. There's no to eliminate the physical movement and to completely be able to ground your mind and get into your mind so that you're starting in your heart and then branching out from there.
makes sense. Makes sense. Yep. Now, one other thing that I have been thinking about is, uh, it's hard for some people to get what this is or what this is about in one session. Um, would a 1 week engagement, like a course or you know, or a weekend retreat or something, would that be helpful for the beginners?
I think it could be. I don't. I don't. For each person, I think it's
Different, yeah.
maybe different. It's a time. The consistency of time certainly helps as well.
Yeah. Very good. So people can put the comments as well in terms of, you know, beginner's toolkit that you think beginners need to know. But let's continue. So anyone else with some thoughts? AC, Taru? So Onkar, you have put some questions there. What would you learn and how to measure your success? What are the must-haves and what are the common obstacles? What are the precautions and what are the no-nos? I think, Onkar, you will have to fill those out.
Bhaiya, namaste, pranam. Those are just questions, it's like how will, so that can, like the people who are here, they can answer like what works for them and how do they measure their success. So like I have heard people talking about like, as Steve said, that it helps, you know, in one way, and then for Lowe's it helps the other way. So like that may be different, but like those are like the common things that common theme that can be added. Like, so this is what you are going to get. Like you can start your week on a better note, something on those lines. So so whatever like the participant here are experiencing, that can be added in there.
Yeah, maybe I can, I think as Luz was suggesting, we could record a video, a short video with, you know, even some of us talking, you know, about what we have experienced or what we get out of the session and so on and so forth. So Sujata is saying that I feel people feel overwhelmed when meditation is mentioned because they think it requires silence, discipline, perfection, and a lot of that feels intimidating. I do agree. This is one thought that has been going on in my head a lot recently. So on one hand, if we don't have discipline and if we don't have, you know, I mean, practice itself is a discipline way. But then I think as, you know, Luz was mentioning that some of this, like just can happen very, I don't know, what's the right word, like simply and you don't have, so there are some aspects which are like, you know, which makes this practice relatively simpler, but on the other hand, I feel there is a need for discipline. There is a need for things that make you uncomfortable, like a lot of people silence, is something, and meditation. So interestingly, you're saying meditation overwhelms people. This morning I was thinking, what about how many people come here for enlightenment? And how many people feel completely and totally overwhelmed, um, you know, by the word itself. So kind of breaking it down to a point. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I would like to say that, enlightenment, like meditation, is not, shouldn't be overwhelming. It's something that we should think about. But then I myself was thinking that, how many people really get to that stage? And that is why it is like it feels out of reach. So both are true in some ways.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
So good. I think let's continue the discussion. Arvindji, how about you? Before we wrap up, I just thought, see if you can. Yeah, Minnie is talking about the obstacles video, which I think, yeah, it should be part of the beginner's toolkit in the sense that if you want to build a practice, what comes in the way? How do you prioritize? How do you, so a lot of the techniques and how do you, the posture, the place and consistency, distraction-free space and all that, but there are other things that make or break your practice. So definitely that should be part of that. But then, I was also thinking about slightly deeper, but, Arvindji, we were talking about emotional regulation, for example. I mean, until and unless we understand that this will help us, get to emotional regulation. But before I go further on that, I just wanted to mention, so Sujataji was talking about discipline. And what is interesting is that meditation, if you decide you will do the practice, creates discipline in one way. But the practice requires discipline in another way. So it's a very interesting one. And so if we want meditation to take us to a point where I think we would call we are more resilient, mentally resilient to start with, it would require that we have self-discipline. We have emotional regulation. We have a few other things. So I think talking about that a little bit, I feel is also grounding in the sense that people do not connect the dots. So what dots should we connect in the beginner's toolkit? And it could be a video, it could be a video, a little bit of a booklet, and so on and so forth. But yeah, Arvindji, I'm sorry, I was...
That's okay. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Very fortunate to join once again, and happy Saturday and namaskar to everybody. Really, you spelled it out in the beginning yourself, and Steve and Luz were rightly saying the important effects of meditation, which is live long and prosper. No, basically, be able to have a calm, peaceful life. So for a beginner's toolkit, I would suggest perhaps also adding that if you are wanting a balanced, peaceful life, and less reactivity in your life, there's all the evidence, and you were mentioning neurobiological evidence, and there's plenty of, as you rightly said, the amygdala, which is the threat center of our brains, is highly reactive. Unfortunately, the reactivity of that amygdala often without filter. You mentioned the stimulus and response and the space between stimulus and response. I humbly submit that the space can really be modulated by meditation process. That is extremely important, because if the response is a reactive one, it often brings, difficulties and distress to the person and those around them. So the response can be modulated effectively directly with meditation. And there is so much evidence that, I cannot begin to talk about it. But essentially, you said the prefrontal cortex, which is the main filter of our, fast and irregular thought process, that filter is enhanced. Functional magnetic resonance imaging scan studies have clearly shown that deep transcendental meditation and continued meditation, not short term, but long-term meditation, increases the size of the prefrontal cortex, and it allows those emotions to be modulated effectively. So that brings calmness, peace, and ability for us as humans to make the right decision, judgment, vivek, as Guru Maharaj used to say. One more brief thing to mention, if I may. Guru Maharaj used to say, don't worry about meditation, just sit in front of me. I will do it for you. Now that is the kind of power I say that this meditation brings, that is completely different. And the word superior doesn't begin to describe it. It's not your everyday meditation. So it will require us, the practitioners, to try and, and accept that in our life first, accepting this process, that it will bring peace, and allowing it to do that on a regular basis is key to us, trusting. The trust is also very important. So I just humbly say that it brings benefits more than we can imagine.
Yeah, so very, very interesting thing that, we do agree in general, because we discussed this. I think Steve was talking about it, that, or maybe Liz was too, that there is a collective effect. There is a group effect on our meditation. And I think at the height of it, somebody who really lives it and breathes it gets to a point where they have a profound effect on your meditation. That's part of this satsang, in a way that I have seen that there is, you can definitely be at a higher state, be and you can become that abundant source. But what is very interesting, and that is what I was reading this morning, is that they feel that the humility also comes along with it in some ways, that it's not my energy. I'm getting it from the source or my guru, or whatever source of energy I'm connecting to. So it's not my energy. So I don't have any ownership or ego around it. So while I can share that energy with others, it's not something that I feel that there is a special capability. So just that description done by Guru Maharaj, it's like very interesting that you are the source and you're not the source at the same time. it's you know so in a way you become the via media. But the ability to absorb and store and share, that was my last Substack article anyway. All right, on that note, glad that we were here in Satsang. I think we'll and I think and we'll just I think Steve appreciated, Arvindji, your articulation, which the ability to respond to a negative stimulus in a positive fashion demonstrates a higher moral ground, which seem to be going away fast from this culture. It's like, or I don't know. I mean, when you look at the history, there is plenty of evidence that these issues existed. At the same time, we also, continually. So there is this yin and yang, right? There is the positive, and the best thing that I always go back to is the Lord of the Rings, where the negative side multiplies at such a fast pace that it's not just overwhelming, it's like completely mind-boggling. The positive side number is less, but they still outweigh. So it's very interesting. So is true within us. There will be so many negative forces, negative situations, negative ideas, thoughts, etc., etc. But then there is this, centered energy, which is positive, which continues to give us, the positive outcomes. And hopefully that wins. So on that note, glad we were here in Satsang, and love, light, and peace be with you for real. And we'll see you all soon. Namaskar. Thank you.
Pranam bhaiya. Bye everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Liz. Thanks, Steve, Biju, Arvindji, Minnie, Sujata.
Pranam bhaiya.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good week.